Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something, using some of the starting footage for some of these things I've started incorporating back over into my training. Yes, there's some technique that needs to be looked at, there's some stuff with the straps. But I'm making this video now, and it probably won't be out for a few weeks, because I tend to be so far ahead. I literally, and I do mean this literally, have exactly 100 videos on my computer not uploaded. It takes a while. But I want to talk about some of this stuff because it really fits into the whole Orc Mode concept, which is what I flow with conjugate, right? I call it Orc Mode training, and it's because, yes, we run conjugate. We're very true to the conjugate system. But it's always this talk of, can we be thicker? Can we be powerful? Can we be athletic? It's about moving big, heavy weights, about being explosive, but it's also about being as thick as possible. And I really think messing with a lot of the Olympic lift variations fits into that. And I'm not talking about perfect, beautiful, amazing Olympic lift techniques, right? Because those guys are artists in their own right. Let's be realistic here. Olympic weightlifters, the guys at the Olympic level, and the girls, actually, everybody at the Olympic level, right? We can be all inclusive here. They're artists. Like, their skill level and technical proficiency at those movements has taken them years to perfect. And they're usually perfect physical specimens in regard to kinesthetic intelligence, right? These are people who learn movement very quickly. To be at that level, they just have to be. And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about developing it to that level. We're talking about coming in and using some of the variations of these movements because they get us stacked and they get us explosive, right? I mean, we could use the term here, and I almost should steal Athlete X's term because he doesn't train people like athletes, right? We know that. Let's talk about training like an athlete. Well, you know, people have asked me for a long time, do you think a lot of these lifts could add to the speed work? Well, maybe. They can't replace speed work. Look, these movements cannot replace speed work. Speed work is its own beast. They can sure as hell supplement it, though, right? And we can take it up to the next level. We can start talking about chains and axle bars, and I'm doing that. Like, you're seeing these things, but already I'm messing with on off days, like my rest days where I do GPP and stuff. I'm messing with stuff like axle bar cleans, all my loaded carries. I do farmer's walks like 3 days a week, off camera, right? I do a lot of high rep reverse hypers. I do all my ab work. Here's what do? Hanging leg raises, standing band crunches. We have to do ab work. So they're giving me this bullshit that you don't do ab work. I don't need ab work. You deadlift. That's why you only deadlift 500 pounds. That's why you only deadlift 500 pounds, probably because you won't train your abs. That sink in. But I digress. Over to the point. A lot of these movements, they're amazing for really thickening you up. Again, and I'm not talking about when you execute them beautifully. I'm talking about when you have to muscle through them a little bit. Okay? They make you explosive and they thicken you up. What do we mean by explosive? There's so much jumping involved with a lot of these. Like the snatch grip high pulls you see me doing. Or we mess with any cleans or snatches or anything. Any of these movements, including their variations. Like even if you're doing a power clean, even though I'm doing them with an axle bar, which is harder, it's a totally different beast. Okay? There's still that jump involved. There's still all that hip extension involved. A lot of these movements have an enormous power component. That's a speed strength component. We're getting into athletic training. You start doing these movements, combining it with your speed work. It's like for a long time I was doing jumping and I realized it's problematic at my age. I get hurt easy. I got hurt jumping, basically. And I was getting pretty good at it, but it became problematic. A lot of these can replace that, though. Right? They're explosive. They're athletic. But they thicken you up. And a lot of this stuff, look at a lot of these movements. Stop and look at what they do. Snatch grip deadlifts. Snatch grip pen lay rows. Snatch grip high pulls. Wide grip, really wide grip overhead pressing. A lot of stuff we would think of as strongman training, football training. It's not always classic powerlifting, but it'll make you better at powerlifting, won't it? Because if you get thicker and stronger, you become a better powerlifter. Powerlifting is nothing more than a test of brute strength. That's why there is no such thing as powerlifting training. Right? That's nonsense. I mean, there can be. You can do highly specific, but are they really any better? Not really. They still have guys who don't do the specific training hang with them just as well at the world level. Happens all the time. Okay. It's just a test of strength. A low skill test of brute strength. What are these movements are doing? Thickening us up. Look at what they work. Look at the snatch grip high pull. Whole shoulder girdle. Side delts, rear delts, traps. Because we start at that angle too, it's working more than just the upper trap. It's upper back shoulder girdle movement. Yes, it works other stuff. Yes, we're getting the hip extension. Yes, we're getting a little quad. I mean, we're getting some lower body in there. It's that shoulder girdle. We got the wide grip standing press. They don't want to even do this. The starting strength guys don't do this. They don't like it. They keep it narrow. A lot of strongmen do this. Well, because it feeds into it. A lot of this is supplemental lifts. That's what a lot of this is also that I'm doing here. Wide grip pendlay rows, wide grip pressing, snatch grip deadlifts. These are hypertrophy exercises that carry over to your Olympic type lifts. Right? They use these movements. They all build you up top. They build that shoulder girdle. Upper back. Okay. Well, if you want to get good at powerlifting, upper back, which tons of upper back work is always done for powerlifting. Why? Because it's critical for the big three. Right? That whole shoulder girdle and upper back is critical for the big three. It doesn't really matter how you build it. You can build it with bodybuilding movements. But what happens if we build it with this stuff? We're building it with athletic movements. Getting thick and powerful. That's the core of Orc Mode training. This has a place there. It's about brutal training. Right? And we could call it all sorts of stuff. I chose Orc Mode because I like the concept and it works because of some gaming background that I have. A lot of gamers like it. We could call it whatever we want. We could call it blue collar type training, a lot of it. Right? You think of it as working. That's why we use all the chains. A lot of times you wear work boots, although I go barefooted these days. It's there to do work. People could call it whatever, barbarian training, Viking training, whatever you want to call it. I like the Orc Mode. The idea is the same though. Training designed to get us thick and powerful top to bottom so that you look like you lift. Not about looking pretty. Really, it's that concept of training like an athlete. You want to be strong and thick and powerful. I'm not trying to be pretty. I don't care if we look pretty. But you want to look like somebody who people probably don't want to mess with. Right? That's what we're talking about. Being powerful and looking powerful so that when someone sees you, they know. But this adds to it. You know, you've got the big quads and glutes and big, thick shoulders. When your shoulder girdle is thick and you're wide and thick up top, people know that you're strong. Right? Everybody knows that. They know what someone who's strong looks like versus someone who they think just looks good. There's a difference. One commands more respect. I'm not talking about on camera when people are sitting there talking smack from a distance. I'm talking in person. You can get a lot more respect when you look strong. Because other guys know. They know on a subconscious level. Women know too. They know too. But this fits it. And particularly what happens when we start messing with the axle bar stuff? What happens when we start throwing chains and bands and stuff over all of it? Now, the weightlifting purists would freak out and scream, and they do. When they see the West Side guys, some of the West Side guys doing cleans against bands, they're like, oh, you see it online. They throw a temper tantrum and talk about how that's terrible for weightlifting. Well, no one's talking about weightlifting. What about if you just want to be strong as hell and explosive and powerful? Well, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Start doing this stuff with chains. It makes sense. It works. And it works with the system because we can address the weak links. right? It'll address a lot of the weak links. Then we can do fewer other supplemental lifts. We can come in and really just use almost bodybuilder type training to really hit those final weak links like triceps and hamstrings. This handles a lot of the weak links though. A lot of weak links that you're likely to have. Build good shoulder health, shoulder mobility. Things a lot of powerlifters lack. Yeah, they can be gleaned with a lot of this wide grip work, especially since a lot of the rear delts, infraspinous, rhomboids, all that stuff gets developed. Help with a lot of your shoulder problems on it. And you really are functional. And more explosive. I think it works. I think it works really well with Orc Mode training. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.